Hey, what's up everybody? I was going to do a Monster Box video. However, after I recorded it, it was 45 minutes long and I'm like, yeah, no one's going to watch this because it was kind of boring to be honest. So instead, I'm going to go through all of the teams that I use because a majority of the monsters that I actually care about are in my teams. And the ones that aren't, I'm going to go through my Monster Box after the teams and I'm going to show you the ones that I do care about. So onto my teams. The first team that I use is a Horus Descend team. Horus is my partner in the game. To make a long story short, I was about to quit, and then I spent all my stones on the rare egg machine, and I rolled Horus. And he's been my partner in this game for a long time, and he's going to remain my leader for probably my entire adventure. And I can't wait for the Ultimate Evolution to come over to the United States, and it should be coming out soon. So in this team, it's a dual delay Horus team. And starting off with Akinda, she is the centerpiece for a majority of teams. Everything about her is good, and that's why I decided to max out her level, max out her stats, her awakens, and her skill. Her skill is it delays enemies for 3 turns, and that's pretty good against any round you come across. And in this team, you use it to build up the other skills in the team. Like Orochi has a stronger delay, but it's a 25 turn cooldown. So you use this delay against the boss, and then you just spike it to death. Now I have a couple cool tricks in this team, and that's why I call it a Descend team, because I use it to tackle the harder dungeons in the game. Mech Warrior Asgard has a skill defensive stance. It reduces your received damage by half for 5 turns. So when I make it to the boss, and I use Orochi's skill to stall it for 5 turns, giving me 6 turns to spike it to death. If it does not die, or if I can foresee it not dying with my last attack, I'll activate Mech Warrior Asgard's ability, reducing the damage I take by half. So then the boss will hit me, and then I use Echidna to delay it further. So now I have 4 more turns of spike. And in addition to all this, I run Yomi, because not only does she have the dark and light to complete the rainbow, but her skill Change the World, I can use this to rack up tons of damage. I can spend a turn rigging up the board, and when I have like a perfect board where I can make an 8, 9, or even 10 combo if I'm lucky enough, this does a lot of damage to the boss. Moving on to Team 2, it's another Horus team, but this is my general farming team. Same thing, Horus and Akinda, but I run 3 orb changers. Siegfried changes heart to water. Then you have Kuchu, who changes heart to wood. Then you have Valkyrie, who changes heart to light. So these 3 orb changers ensure that I have enough orbs on the board to trigger Horus's effect. One thing to note about this team is that it is completely non-rare egg machine, provided you roll Horus at the start of your adventure. So if you rolled Horus and you want to build this team, it's completely possible. You don't have to spend much, if anything at all, to build this, because everything is farmable. And it's a really fun team. I used this team for a very long time, and then I rolled Yomi and Orochi, and I kind of built the Descend team. So it's not as strong as some rare egg machine dependent builds, but it's still pretty good. The third team I have is Zeus. Zeus is an excellent leader. He doesn't really have an orb condition to meet. Rather, his hit points has to be full. And then when you pair up with another Zeus, 3.5 times 3.5 is 12.25. That's a pretty strong multiplier for having no condition at all. And because his hit points has to be full, I run dual delay. So once again, I run Echidna and I run Orochi. And then in addition to this, I have Virch, whose skill changes dark orbs to light orbs. And as you can see, in this team, dark orbs don't matter. So Virch's skill does nothing but help the team. And then I run Valkyrie, changing the heart to light. And this team is majority light, but it still functions extremely well. This is another team that can be completely non-rare egg machine. If you don't have Orochi, you can put in a second Echidna. A lot of people build 2 Echidnas who are non-REM, and the team will still function completely fine. So this is a team I really like. I really want a plus 297 Zeus because I think he's worth it. It's just a fun team. I really like it. Next up, we have Satan. This team is extremely fun. The biggest thing about this guy is that he has negative recovery. Like under no circumstance can you heal with heal orbs with this team. You can run subs that have skills that heal, but for the most part, you do not heal when running a Satan team. And the cool thing about this guy is that it's mono dark, and the skills in the team are absolutely incredible. So you have Drawn Joker, who changes light orbs to heal orbs. Then you have Vampire Duke, who changes heal orbs to dark orbs. So instantly you have a lot of dark orbs on the board. Then you have Beelzebub, who gives all water and dark orbs a plus, giving them more damage. Then you have Batty, who has 3 times attack for devil types for 1 turn. So on the boss, you pop Drawn Joker skill, changing all light to heal. Then you pop Vampire Duke, changing heal to dark. Then you pop Beelzebub, giving all the darks and waters a plus. Then you pop Batty, giving all of your devils times 3 attack. And then with Satan, you use his Awaken skills, and you want to match all of the dark orbs horizontally across the board. And each one of these increases it by 10%. So you have this Satan, and then you have your helper Satan, that's 60%. And if you want, you can actually change the subs up. There's a chick vampire lady. Wicked lady. She is the non-rare egg machine version of Persone. But if you have her, it's pretty much Drawn Joker and Vampire skill all in one. It changes light and heal to dark. And if you have this or Persone, you take out both Drawn Jokers and you put her in, and then you put in another Satan, who I just farmed. Let me find him. Here we go. I just farmed another Satan yesterday, and with that Satan, you have 9 of those Awaken skills. That's 90% more damage, which is insane. It's almost double the attack, and that's on top of Batty's skill and all the pluses. I read a post on the forums, and there was a bunch of math in it, but Satan can go into Ra's damage territory, which is like 36 times attack, so he can go well further into that too. So he's a very fun team. Just the thing is, you cannot recover, so it's a very fast-paced team, and that's why I like it. The 5th team, we have Recovery Goman. Goman's skill, 5 times attack when your hit points is under 20%. So when you pair up with another Goman, you have 25 times attack. Now on top of this, you have King Bubbly, who has 3 times attack for physical types for 1 turn. So against the boss, you have 25 times 3, that's 75 times attack. And in addition to this, you have Goman's skill, who changes the entire board to fire. And then you have Horus, who gives all the fire orbs a plus, which is absolutely incredible. It's a really good team to farm a lot of the tougher dungeons with. And a lot of people call it the non-in-app purchase version of an endgame player's team. And if you do not have Horus, you can exchange it with Hera, who has the same thing, increases fire attack damage, so it gives all the fire orbs a plus. And if you do swap it out with Hera, then it becomes a completely non-rare egg machine team that you can build without spending any money at all. So that's a pretty powerful team. Let's switch that back. The last team I have is a very boring mono dark grind team. In this team, you basically have a lot of hit points and recovery, and you just keep stalling, and then you launch gravities and Lucifer nukes against the boss. I don't have Lucifer, so I'm using Dispanas, who's the non-rare egg machine version of Loki, who has 2 times attack and recovery for dark monsters. But recovery is really the only thing that matters, because if the enemies hit you, you want to be able to heal back all of your hit points. So 4 times recovery in a team like this is incredibly good, and it's really the only thing that matters. But with Lucifer, hit points matters too. But because I don't have Lucifer, I'm using Dispanas. So basically, you use this team, you use Hera's to launch gravities against the boss, and then Lucifer has a nuke, which you also deal against the boss, and you just keep stalling and chipping away. Very boring team, but I used this team to get Valkyrie, because that was the only team I had at the time to get Valkyrie. It can beat a lot of dungeons in the game, so it's pretty good. I guess it's time to go into the monster box. Well, I guess I didn't explain why I use this Tsukiyomi. This Tsukiyomi mainly for the recovery. It's dark, it fits into the team. Change the world is kind of irrelevant unless like there's some kind of circumstance where you're hit to low life and there's only 3 heal orbs on the board, and you got to combo the whole board to get your health all the way back up. So it can save you in a pinch, but I mainly run it because the recovery is high. Alright, let me switch back to Horus, and let's go to my monster box. Which ones didn't I talk about that actually matter? I want to make a note on the Snow Globe Dragons. A lot of people use this as an enhanced material because at max level it gives off like 1,000,000 experience. And I made the mistake of sacrificing my first Snow Globe Dragon into my Horus. One thing I've learned about this game is that experience is ultimately free. Like over time, as long as your stamina bar is like filling up, you're gonna have experience. So the Snow Globe Dragons are the non-in-app purchase versions of the Archangels, 2 times hit points and recovery. So that's something to make a note of. What else we have? Fire Dragon Tyrannos. I was going to Ultimate Evolve this guy, but then the Draggy map came out, and you have to run 10 cost or under people in the team. So I use this guy to smash Draggy, so I don't know if I'm going to Ultimate Evolve him anymore. But he is at max level. I have a second Siegfried being built up because I really want to run a Siegfried team. If the team slots like increased to 9, you were able to have 9 teams at once, then I would definitely build the physical team because I want to run 2 Siegfrieds and then a Siegfried as a helper, and then Drilling Shark, Megalodron. One cool thing about this guy is that he was a dragon, and then when you Ultimate Evolve him, he gets the physical type, and he has the highest recovery, like for a physical type. It's insane how high his recovery is. So he's good in the physical team too. And I just want to run the team because I think it's fun. Robin, let's talk about him. This guy was out of the Batman egg machine, which I pulled and I got this guy. And he's really cool because if you make an 8 combo, you get 4 times attack. If you make a 9 combo, you get 6 times attack. And if you make a 10, then you get 8 times attack. So if you pair up with another Robin and you get a 10 combo, that's 64 times attack. It's extremely good in the weekend dungeon because there's only 4 of the 6 orbs. So the sky drops trigger a lot of combos and you can rack up tons of damage with this guy. So he's really fun to run. I really like him. Just he's kind of inconsistent if it's not a dungeon where you have fewer orbs than regular. Kieran, let's talk about her. She is arguably the best leader in the game, if not like in the top 3. And the thing is, I already rolled Horus, and him and I are like buddy-buddy and all that, so Kieran is going to sit on the bench for a very long time. And if there happens to be like a trade function that comes out, which there probably won't be because it'd probably ruin the game, I would gladly trade her away. However, if I think about it, she's probably going to get an Ultimate Evolution sometime, which is probably going to be better than Ultimate Horus, so I might as well keep a hold of her. Divine Queen Hera, let's talk about her. I really like this chick because she's the same thing as Satan, like the 3.5 times attack for devil types, except she can stall. That's something Satan cannot do. And because you can stall with Hera, that means you can launch gravities against the boss. And Hera can take out a lot more dungeons than Satan can. However, Satan is just, it seems more fun to run because it's like blitz. It's like kind of like a race against the clock, kind of. That's really all the monsters I want to talk about. Everything else is just Evo materials and all that. If you have any questions about the game and stuff, you could join the Puzzle and Dragons group. I mentioned it in the previous video. It's Puzzles and Dragons and PAD in parentheses. I'll put it up on the video screen. I honestly could talk about this game all day. Like whenever people say, hey, I want to build a team, I'm unsure of what I want to do, could you give me a direction or something? Like, sure, I'm glad to do that. Like, I like talking about different team setups, different skills, like different ways to tackle dungeons, and just everything about this game I like, except the rare egg machine. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a comment if you wish, and if you are playing Puzzle and Dragons, be sure to join the Palringo group. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you later. Bye.